Created in 1244 during the Southern Song dynasty, the Nine Dragons Scroll by Chen Rong is an example of Chinese scroll painting that utilizes black and red ink to depict vividly detailed dragon motifs. According to a reference entry in Oxford Art Online, Chen Rong specialized in monochrome ink paintings of dragons, and he was also well known as the author of heroic poems during the 1250s. He is said to have studied the poems and paintings of flying dragons by Li Yu. The rhythmic flow of waves, misty mountains, and clouds with contorted dragons creates a composition that evokes feelings of poetic harmony on paper. There is an inscribed poem by the artist on the back of the painting and a smaller inscription at the beginning of the scroll. The merging of painting, poetry, and calligraphy reflect the freedom of expression and vitality of spirit that is characteristic of Chinese literati artists. This is a quote by Chen Rong from the inscription. It says, "The picture of 9 dragons was painted in the spring of 1244. This scroll has come back into the possession of my son-in-law. Does not a divinely inspired thing surely find its allotted space?" This is the inscription, a detail of the poem inscribed by the artist on the scroll. The top image is a detail from the scroll that depicts a dragon amidst mountains. Chen Rong used a technique known as axe cut strokes, both large and small, which is brushwork achieved by dragging the brush sideways. This gives the mountains a rough texture while making them sharp and angular in appearance. He also uses the pomo technique of spilling ink to emphasize the waves and mountains of the water. This is seen at the bottom image. Here, Chen Rong splashed and smeared ink with a cloth and wiped away areas of excess ink. This technique was mostly used by literati amateur painters and in Chan Buddhist painting. To create the spackles of ink, he whipped the handle of the paintbrush quickly to get a dotted appearance. The gongbi technique, a highly detailed and careful brushstroke technique that requires that one draw with fine lines first and then add layers of washes of ink and color on top, is used to delineate the dragons. There are areas of highly concentrated ink contrasted with little to no ink that differentiates the dragon scenes and the landscapes as you move along the length of the scroll. The areas with seemingly no ink are clouds that are shaped by the hazy areas with dark shadows with more ink. As the title suggests, there are 9 dragons that appear throughout the scroll. The first dragon is perched on a rocky mountaintop, looking as if it is about to take flight towards the second dragon. A short way from the first dragon is the second, shown in mid-air emerging from the shadows and clouds. The third dragon is crouched behind rocks with its claws outstretched. Amongst the energetic waves is the fourth dragon, clutching a pearl with its claws. The fifth and sixth dragons are in close proximity to each other and appear to be in conflict. There is real tension between them. The seventh dragon is playfully hidden in the rolling waves. Sprawling upwards in shadows and clouds is the eighth dragon. Lastly, the ninth dragon is resting on a rock, yet its body is coiled and looks alertly back at the beginning of the scroll. Each dragon is distinct in appearance and expression. There are symbolic and spiritual meanings attached to images of dragons. It wasn't until the Ming and Qing dynasties that the dragon became the chief emblem of the emperor. The dragon symbolizes masculinity, strength, and power, the yang energy in the concept of yin and yang. According to Asian legend, dragons dwell in mountains, lakes, rivers, and the sky. They hold a cosmological importance in Chinese culture and represent the spring season. 9 dragons was painted in the spring of 1244. Because 7 constellations associated with the dragons appear in the east in springtime. Imperial seals are stamped in red ink, and the colophons are inscribed in black ink. Many of the imperial seals belong to the Emperor Qianlong of the Qing dynasty. He also directly inscribed on the painting. These Qianlong seals, along with other emperor seals, indicate that this scroll was a prized possession of the imperial collection. I think that this work would be a great addition to the class lectures because Chen Wrong's style is different from other literati artists that we have studied so far. It is expressive and energetic, which captures the feelings and emotions that are conjured at the sight of these dragons. Even though they are figments of the imagination, they appear convincingly real and awe-inspiring. Nine Dragons differs from other ink paintings we have seen in the class because of the subject matter, solely being dragons and the combination of techniques, gongbi, pomo, axe strokes, for example, which create a dynamic and unique composition.